Welcome into the AHSAA Weekly, presented by America's First Federal Credit Union. Your inside look at everything going on with the Alabama High School Athletic Association. I'm John Holder. Coming up on this week's show, we will visit with Brent Hubbard. He is the head football coach of the T.R. Miller Tigers, making state history, the first high school program in Alabama to win 700 games. We will speak with him from Bruton coming up this week. Also, we'll look ahead to the AHSAA statewide game of the week here on WOTM. We'll visit with the head coaches from Pleasant Grove and Winona High Schools. That's Darrell LeBeau and also Nick Howard. Also coming up this week, we will meet the Class 6A Making a Difference Award winner, Joe Webb of Mountain Brook High School. And we'll have David Holtzford's highlights as we take you around the state for volleyball and football highlights. All of that coming up on this week's edition of the AHSAA Weekly, presented by America's First Federal Credit Union.
Every bank has their own app, but it's just that, theirs. At AmFirst, our app was made for you, so you can personalize your dashboard, pay your bills, and redeem points for rewards you'll love. Get the app made for you at AmFirst.
The AHSAA Weekly, presented by America's First Federal Credit Union, continues. We're going to take you to the South Alabama town of Bruton. We're going to speak with the head coach of the T.R. Miller High School Tigers, Coach Brent Hubbard. Coach, congratulations first and foremost on the win over Cottage Hill Christian. It was a big win in Class 3A Region 1, getting region play off to a big start, winning the game 36-6. But that was a little bit overshadowed because T.R. Miller High School and your football team, they accomplished something that has never been done in the history of the state of Alabama, and that's saying something with the football history we have in this state. T.R. Miller becomes the first program to win 700 games in school history, dating back over 96 years. Coach, just tell us about the win and tell us about the night and the accomplishment.
It was great. I'm just blessed and honored to be a small part of the history of T.R. Miller right now. Being here for the third year, but it was awesome. We had the past players come in, hoping we didn't want to screw it up, and not win, but we did have a little gathering, a little tailgating. Coach Riggs came in, and I'd reached out to him to deliver the pregame speech, and as in there, we probably have former players back over the last 35, 40 years up to the present time, mixed in with our players, listening to him deliver, myself deliver, and then going out and playing the football game. So, it was something that the kids kind of knew coming into the season, and, we're fortunate to get it to happen right here at a home game in Bruton, Alabama.
Well, you're no stranger to small town great football. You and your dad combined for literally hundreds of wins yourselves at Maplesville High School in Chilton County. A lot of similarities. Of course, Bruton's a little bit bigger than Maplesville, but a lot of similarities between the two towns. Talk about the similarities between Maplesville and Bruton.
Well, everything revolves around the school. We could have a choir at the school, a choir concert at the school. This parking lot's going to be packed. You announce anything happening at the school, it's packed. It revolves around it. The community is a hard-working, blue-collar type. They both are like that. Pulpwood at one time, or still is, leading the industry in both of them. Just hard-nosed kids and great work ethic, and those type of people are easy to work with, and proud communities, both of them. And they really support their school and any of the extracurricular activities.
Coach Hubbard, even though I live 300 miles away and have lived for most of my life in North Alabama, I have long been an admirer of T.R. Miller High School in the town of Bruton. What was it that attracted you to come to T.R. Miller?
Well, I grew up a coach's son, and like you, the history of high school football is big in my family, just because that's what we did for a living. And there was opportunity. I was ready to leave at Maplesville, been there 15 years. It was one of those things, if I'm ever going to leave, if I'm going to go to another place, this opportunity is here, and let's take a chance. It's very similar. Just a small step up, a couple of classifications. And I got excited. I was kind of like, I think Maplesville needs a little bit of a change. I need a little bit of a spark, and so far it's kind of worked out.
Coach, I understand you invited back everybody who had ever played football at T.R. Miller to come back for this game. You mentioned Jamie Riggs, longtime legendary Hall of Fame coach, spoke to the team before the game. Just your impressions of the tradition of T.R. Miller from talking with all these guys from literally decades of T.R. Miller football.
Well, I've met a lot of them outside of last Friday, but just having the opportunity to shake their hand and walk around in that dressing room, it was really, I'd never experienced anything like it. I'm already saying, hey, we need to do it once a year for those guys to come back in, see the dressing room, be around the kids. The kids were in awe. Our coaching staff was just amazed. It was really a special moment, and I'll try to do it again.
Coach, we want to say congratulations to you, one, on the win. Best wishes for you and your football team the rest of the season. We're just getting cranked up now with region play. And we also, first and foremost, want to say a heartfelt congratulations from everybody at the AHSAA, and I think football fans all across the state of Alabama for the outstanding accomplishment of 700 wins at T.R. Miller High School in Bruton. Congratulations to you, your staff, your football team, and all the folks there in Bruton, Alabama.
We appreciate it from our staff, the community, the football team, and administrators and everybody. We certainly appreciate it.
Brent Hubbard is the head coach of the T.R. Miller Tigers. 700 wins, never been done before in the history of high school football in the state of Alabama. More of the AHSAA Weekly presented by America's First Federal Credit Union in just a moment.
Looking for a perfect checking account? Don't waste your time. No minimum balance, no monthly fees, and a convenient app. Now you could try and find that at a bank, or you could save yourself the trouble by checking with us.
Time to meet our Class 6A Making a Difference Award winner for 2021. He's the soccer coach at Mountain Brook High School. Here's Coach Joe Webb.
My inspirations to get into this business were both from my father and from my father-in-law, Ray Woodard. Dad, kind of like me, Dad had gone into a different business way back when. That wasn't for him. He became a teacher and retired from Phillips High School some time back. And then while I was in high school, I kind of fell into the game of soccer. It was an accident, and we played Indian Springs one time, and they were just so much better than we were technically. And I just went up to their coach and after the game and said, look, I'll pay you to give me lessons if you'll help me learn how this game works. And he was so funny, he wouldn't take any money, but he was addicted to Mountain Dew. So 2 or 3 times a week during the summer, I'd go out there with a Mountain Dew and I'd give him his drink. Now I didn't know he was not supposed to have those. I didn't find that out till many, many years later. But I'd give him his Mountain Dew and we'd do lessons. And I became friends with him right then, and it just went on. Ray brought soccer to Alabama in 1963, and you know, even though he brought it and it was here and he did a lot of things, and I continually run into somebody who he knew or coached or worked with or whatever, one of the things that I always appreciated that he did is anybody that wanted to learn, he would help them out. And it just, my passion for the game, it leads me to do the same things. We want to have fun in the pursuit of the goals that we have. And there's a lot of things that we'll do during the season to keep that in perspective. One of the things that I did, I don't know, about 10 years ago. No, it's more recent than that, sorry. My dad was a teacher as well. He taught English at Phillips High School. We quit wearing normal ties a long time ago. I don't own a normal tie. My ties are Looney Tunes and Warner Brothers and things like that. When we got married, the bow tie and the vest that the groomsmen and I wore were Looney Tunes. That's who we are. It's just fun. Dad said that when he started doing it, he thought it was really interesting because now when he went into class, the kids had some kind of a reaction with him. They wanted to talk about his tie. So they're thinking about that and they're engaging with him. And then when he shifts into the lesson, he's already got their attention, and then we just go from there. Well, I started doing the same thing. We don't have to dress up to teach. When I first started teaching, I did because I knew coaches in the classroom that didn't need to be in the classroom. I wanted to point out to the kids, that's not me. I know my material. I know what I'm doing. I'm good at this. We're going to teach our lesson, but we're going to have fun, just like we do when we're playing soccer. So I've got the same kind of ties. When Dad passed, I got most of his collection, which just added to it. And it's something that we talk about, in the classroom. Well, for some reason, and I don't really know why we did it, sometimes you're drifting off at sleep and you get this idea and you don't know if it's going to go well. Sometimes this may fall flat, but it's something that was kind of just meant something to me. And it's a game, and that's the most important. We want to win. Everybody wants to win. But way back when many of us started playing sports, you really didn't start playing to win championships. That really was not the goal. You went out there to play because it was fun. That's why you played in the backyard with your friends. Sometimes, when you realize that the teams that you chose in the backyard were a little bit lopsided, you changed the rules to make it more fun, because that was the goal. And in the way of learning all that, you also learn working with people. You learn the bigger things in life, character and leadership, and the things that originally, that was where we were supposed to go with all these things. Sometimes I think too many people kind of overlook that on their march for the blue map or something, but that's not the most important thing. We all want that, but we want those other things too, because those other things are going to carry you further. When you're in the classroom, you've got these kids over here, they've got it, they understand it, they're ready. You could test them right then. But you've got somebody over here who's still struggling with that concept. So you've got to keep tweaking the lesson a little bit, try to find a way to connect with them so that they get it too. Because it's not just, did I get some of them to understand? It's we want everybody to understand. You're teaching it because it's important, because this is what we need to know. Well, why is our sports career not the same thing? There was a player who struggled with some difficulties off the field, and eventually we got to the point where we had to remove him from the team. And the assistant principal called me in at one point and asked me, why didn't you kick him off the team day one when the first thing happened? And I told him, I said, if this is a kid in my classroom that's not understanding the lesson and I dump him right off the bat, you're calling me in to ask me why. Why is it different on the field? Shouldn't it be the same thing? So I had nothing to do with the bad choices that he had made, but I kept thinking maybe I can be the reason that he makes better choices. So we struggled with that until it got to the point where we had no other choice. Well, that's a much more harsh example, but is that not the same thing that we do with some of these other things? You've got Billy Bob over here who doesn't play much because he's not understanding one aspect of the game. Well, if we keep working and keep working and keep working, maybe we can get him over the hump so that he can earn some minutes, so he can feel better about himself because he has learned that technique that he needs to be able to get in and play some. Because he needs that moment too. Because I love it. Because it's fun. Why do you do anything? Because it's fun. You don't get up and dig ditches because it's fun. You get it because it's your job or whatever. You do what you have to do sometimes. I get to do this. That's really cool. I get to get up every day and go do this.
Looking for a perfect checking account? Don't waste your time. No minimum balance, no monthly fees, and a convenient app. Now you could try and find that at a bank, or you could save yourself the trouble by checking with us.
Coming up this week on WOTM, the AHSAA statewide game of the week will be in Metro Birmingham, a clash between the Winona Dragons and the Pleasant Grove Spartans. We visited with both head football coaches. We're talking about Pleasant Grove's Darryl LeBeau and also Winona's Nick Howard.
For us, we had a lot of question marks also. We didn't know what to expect coming into this season. Not having that opportunity to play against North Jackson this year, they decided to go to another route with the week 0 game. So it was a lot of question marks for us across the board. And, we still have a lot of work to do. I'm definitely excited about the way the kids played, you know, how hard they played, and the selflessness that they played with. So definitely excited about this team, and definitely excited about the year.
What can you tell us about this team that's maybe different from last year? You lost some talent, but you got great talent. DeMarcus Lacey, everybody's heard of him, the great tailback. But what else makes this team maybe a little bit different at Pleasant Grove this year?
I think the work ethic is different this year. You know, even into the weight room, the way they carry themselves around the school, the way they carry themselves at practice is just, you know, it's a workman mentality. Not saying that the last group didn't work, but it's just, you know, something special and something different about this group. You don't have to push or shove or, you know, to jump on them, ask them multiple times to get in the weight room or, you know, to get ready to stretch. You know, it's kind of almost a senior-led team this year, you know, and that's one of the things that we kind of been lacking in the past, you know, allowing the players to be able to lead the team versus the coaches leading the team.
Coach, it sounds like this is a very hungry football team. You've been to the Super 7 2 years in a row. There may not be a more hungry team in the state than the Pleasant Grove Spartans right now.
Yes, sir, definitely nipping at the bud, you know, but, you know, for us, we like to focus in 1 week at a time. You know, don't want to look past anyone. Definitely don't want to look down the line that far. It's a long way from here, but, you know, that's the main goal. Go 1-0 every week, put the best product on the field that we can and play our best football and, you know, let the rest take care of itself.
Coach, best of luck against Cordova. Then next week, next Thursday night, we'll see you right here live on WOTM taking on the Winona Dragons in another key region matchup. Coach, thank you for joining us here this week.
Hey, thank you guys for having me.
Darryl LeBeau, head coach of the Pleasant Grove Spartans. We're speaking with the head coach of the Winona Dragons. Coach Nick Howard is with us. Coach, glad to have you with us here this week as we look ahead to not only the game that you have coming up on Friday night with Ramsey, but also the game coming up next week here on WOTM with Pleasant Grove. Welcome in.
Well, thank you, man. Thank you.
Coach, let's talk about the COVID-19 virus. Obviously, the first part of the season here, first couple of weeks, has had a tremendous effect on your season so far. Tell folks what's happened and where you stand on that.
Well, we had a couple of incidents where we all had to be quarantined due to COVID-19, and we're trying to make sure that we do social distancing and even more than we were doing it before, and we're just trying to, you know, keep the kids safe.
Coach, let's talk about your football team this year. What can folks expect, especially next Thursday night when the statewide audience sees your football team line up against Pleasant Grove?
Yeah, well, we're in sort of a rebuilding year. We don't have a large numbers, but we are very tough, and our kids are they bought into what we're doing. It was a process where they had to learn us, we had to learn them coming in, and like I say, we're just a small team that with a lot of heart that's going to give it everything we got and leave it on the field.
Well, Coach, thank you so much. Best of luck to your team on Friday night against Ramsey. And then coming up next week, we'll see you right here live to a statewide audience on WOTM as you take on Pleasant Grove.
Thank you so much.
Coach Nick Howard, head coach of the Winona Dragons, joining us this week.
Every bank has their own app, but it's just that, theirs. At AmFirst, our app was made for you, so you can personalize your dashboard, pay your bills, and redeem points for rewards you'll love. Get the app made for you at AmFirst.
Closing out this week's edition of the AHSAA Weekly, presented by America's First Federal Credit Union, with David Holzford's highlights, and we're going to pick up the action with volleyball as we take you down to the city of Montgomery for some volleyball action. We open this week's highlights with Montgomery Academy's MAC Attack Tourney with Montgomery Catholic High in action. The Class 3A Knights beat Brubaker Tech, Dothan, Central of Phoenix City, Providence Christian, and defending Class 4A state champion, the host school Montgomery Academy, in the championship to take the title. Catholic was led by junior Lennon McAnally and Elise Rudolph. McAnally had 36 kills, 36 digs, and 9 aces, while Rudolph had 36 kills, 34 digs, 6 aces, and 7 blocks during the tournament. Great performance by Montgomery Catholic High School, playing in the MAC Attack Tournament crosstown at one of their rivals, Montgomery Academy. The Montgomery Academy are defending Class 4A state championship. Great volleyball action there in the city of Montgomery. We continue with volleyball. Class 7A Thompson High School taking on Area 5 rival Oak Mountain High School last week. The Lady Warriors were led by Bree Wilson and Caitlin Grant as Thompson won the match, giving Coach Judy Green her 950th career win. Thompson then traveled to Orlando, Florida to compete in the Nike Tournament of Champions, finishing their week in Orlando in that tournament with a 5-2 record on the week. Some great volleyball action in Metro Birmingham between rivals Thompson and Oak Mountain. We go to football action next in Mobile, where Saraland and McGill-Tulane Catholic open Class 6A Region 1 football play. The Spartans take an early 10-0 lead when quarterback Gabe Reynolds finds Jarrell Williams on a 67-yard strike for the TD. And then coming up for the Spartans, you're going to see next Tony Inge scores from 2 yards out. This actually puts McGill-Tulane on the board. Follow that with a safety and a 48-yard field goal. This is a 48-yard field goal coming right here from the left-footed kicker, Michael Shine. This was on the final play of the half, sending the Yellow Jackets in at intermission ahead by a weird score of 11-10. In the second half, McGill-Tulane running back Will Taylor takes this handoff 40 yards to the end zone to extend the Jackets' lead. However, this was a great football game down the Gulf Coast. Saraland came storming back. This is Cameron Lafitte scoring on a 2-yard touchdown run. For the Spartans of Saraland High School, there's the 2-yard run into heavy traffic, bulldozing into the end zone. And then here's Jarrell Williams again, getting the 2-point conversion with a sliding catch in the end zone to tie the game at 25-all. 33 seconds left to play. Saraland quarterback Reynolds zips the ball between two defenders to Charles Engelbert for the winning touchdown as they escape with a 32-25 victory. We remain on the coast and head to the Fairhope Daphne Class 7A Region 1 opener with the host Trojans opening the scoring with a 30-yard field goal by place kicker Baylor Beard. Later on in the first quarter, with the score now 3-3, Daphne's Tyler Bradley speeds into the end zone for a touchdown to put the Trojans back on top 10-3. Big running back Nick Clark bulls into the end zone for a 17-3 Daphne lead. But with 4 minutes remaining before intermission, Pirates defensive back Amir Adams intercepts the ball deep in the end zone and runs it back 38 yards for the Pirate touchdown that cut the lead to 17-10. There's the interception return right there by Adams, making it 17-10. Daphne would come back, though, and add another touchdown from Ty Bradley from 6 yards out before the dramatic comeback begins. Quarterback Caden Creel scores on a 14-yard run. There's the touchdown right there, and that's followed by Quaylen McCants with a 28-yard scoring run. This scoring run right here ties the game at 24-24. Great game over in Baldwin County between big two rivals, Big Daphne and Fairhope. Game moves into overtime, deadlocked at 31 when Fairhope's Glenn Patrick keeps around in for the winning touchdown, and the Pirates get by the Trojans 38-31. We move to Birmingham for another overtime thriller. Class 6A Region 5 action between Briarwood Christian and Chelsea. Pick up the game with Lions quarterback Christopher Vizina scoring on a 3-yard run to give Briarwood Christian the lead at 7-0. Chelsea would answer with a 29-yard touchdown pass from Hayden Garrison to E.J. Hudnall. Still tied 7-7. Garrison then drops back to pass. This time he's going to find Matt Gray on a 57-yard catch and run, and that is going to give Chelsea the lead on the turf there at Briarwood Christian in the south end of the Birmingham metro area. We're going to jump next to the fourth quarter. Briarwood trailing 35-21 when Vizina finds a receiver open for a touchdown. There's that touchdown, and then the Lions get the ball back with under a minute to go, and Vizina does it again, finding Luke Reballs open in the end zone for the tying touchdown to set up the overtime. Place going crazy there at the Lions Den at Briarwood Christian. The Lions get the win in the extra period when Reballs takes an option pitch and scores the go-ahead touchdown on their try, and the Lions defense does the rest as Briarwood, now 3-0, wins 42-35. We move to Class 7A Region 3 with Spain Park heading to Trussville to face Hewitt-Trussville High School. In the first quarter with Hewitt already up 7-0, Omari Kelly takes the handoff from 7 yards out, scoring to give the Huskies a 14-0 lead. Spain Park's Xavier Long would be a force to deal with, scoring the first touchdown of the game from 15 yards out. Later, with Hewitt leading 17-10, Long scores again. Right here, going to tie the game up at 17-17. Spain Park hanging in there with powerful Hewitt-Trussville on the turf at Trussville. Then it's going to be quarterback Cade Ott Caruth. He takes over from that point, first scrambling on this play for a touchdown to give Hewitt the lead in the third quarter. And then senior James Adams then takes a handoff from Caruth. And he is going to speed 45 yards to the end zone to close out the game as Hewitt-Trussville rolls 38-17 to improve to 3-0 on the year. And it was a historic night in South Alabama in the town of Bruton. T.R. Miller hosting Cottage Hill Christian in Class 3A Region 1. The Tigers of Coach Brent Hubbard came into the contest tied with Fayette County with 699 overall football wins to lead the AHSAA, with both schools chasing number 700. But Fayette facing an open week. T.R. Miller quarterback Miller Hart takes matters into his own hands right here to begin the highlights, finding Nolan Atkinson on a 6-yard touchdown pass, giving the Tigers the early lead. Later in the opening half, Terrence Battles scores on a 1-yard run for T.R. Miller. And then we're going to see DJ Fountain. He's going to add a 7-yard touchdown run as the Tigers built a 22-0 lead by halftime over Cottage Hill out of the city of Mobile. Cottage Hill would score on a 3-yard run from Tenario Rouser. You'll see that right here. A high snap, takes it, pulls it down, goes into the end zone for the touchdown. The only score of the game for Cottage Hill. But it would not be enough as 5 different players scored touchdowns on this night. T.R. Miller becomes the first school in AHSAA history to win 700 football games. The Tigers in their 96th season now have a 700, 327-30 record since 1926, a winning percentage of almost 69%. Congratulations to the T.R. Miller Tigers and the town of Bruton on that outstanding accomplishment. Our AHSAA game of the week last week, a Metro Birmingham affair between Woodlawn and Mountain Brook. Here with the highlights on the AHSAA TV network here on WOTM, Mickey Shadricks and Gerhard Mathangani.
You really saw it in the first half of this one. This is a great play by Woodlawn, able to get their quarterback Chris Allen into the game early on, but they're unable to score on that drive. And once Mountain Brook really took possession in this first drive, you kind of felt that they were on a mission. This is a great play from John Colvin to Jake Thompson, 46 yards for that touchdown. And then Colvin once again would have a same situation where he would get a touchdown off of this interception. Congratulations to Jones Beavers. He had a great game today, 2 picks. That led to that touchdown there by Sims Brown, a 6-yard run. And I think it was this defensive touchdown that really set the tone for Mountain Brook, the scoop and score by Trent Wright.
Again, just so much pressure throughout the game against Allen, creating the turnovers, creating the negative plays for Woodlawn. Just gave Mountain Brook so much room to operate offensively. We talked about with Coach Yeager all the field position they had throughout the game that was given to them by their defense, and they took advantage.
Exactly, and then when they needed to run the ball late, they were able to get it done. You saw the run earlier by Jack King, and then Cooper got into the game as the backup quarterback. How about this in his first series, a 21-yard touchdown run. I made it 42-0 at halftime. It was about all over after that, but just for icing on the cake and the exclamation part, it is Jack King, 60-yard touchdown run to put the capper on it, and they got a big game out of him, all the young guys, and the pressure continued later on in the second half. There's nowhere really to go with the football for that Woodlawn offense, and just congratulations to a very strong effort by the second team defense for Mountain Brook, and they get it done in shutout fashion, 49-0.
And that's going to do it for this week's edition of David Holtzford's Highlights. Thanks to our NFHS partners across the state of Alabama, and of course our great crew here at WOTM for bringing you the highlights. We'll see you back here next week for the AHSAA Weekly, presented by America's First Federal Credit Union.